Here we have a new 2025 GMC Sierra 1500. This one comes in the Pro trim level. This is an onyx black paint job, and then we have jet black vinyl interior. Powertrain consists of a 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, nicknamed the TURBOMAX, and that's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So not many changes from the 2024 model year, but we're gonna go over it and see what we can find. Front end here, we do get our LED daytime running lights and LED headlamps. And I like the look of the Sierras as opposed to the more basic Silverados, just because you still get those nice looking lights on this base model trim here. Wheels, 17-inch aluminum. And then to the door panel here, power door locks. We get express down on all 4 doors, and then we do get one touch up and down for the driver's side window. Power mirror controls are there, rear window lock. There's a storage. This does have 4-wheel drive. We just don't have 4-low, but pretty good use of that. Headlamp controls, electronic parking brake. There's the hood release. And then we get a manual tilt steering wheel there. And there's our driver's seat. That's also manual. So 4-way there. But a big thanks to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this truck today. I'll leave a link below in the description. But if you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click on that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information. I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But this one includes a Pro Value package, spray on bed liner, etc. $48,045 is the sticker price here. But there's the look at the back seat. Let's see how I fit back here. I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so not the best space, but I do like the space between the seat here and then the actual door panel, so I can fit my larger leg in there. And you do get rear AC vents at the bottom, which is nice. Of course, this middle seat folds up. I'll show how that works after a while. And I do like that we get the LED reading lights for the back and very sturdy hooks here if you want to hang your uniform up. But other than that, pretty basic in the back here. Of course, with this being a Pro, we don't have the fold down seat or anything like that, but you can grab the bottom here and still fold this up. Fuel filler there, it takes regular just fine. And then as we come around to the back end here, no LED tail lamps, but you can swap the bulbs out if you so choose, which would help. It's just making it easier to see at night, or for those people behind you to see you. Again, spray on bed liner here. There's a tow hitch, spare tire, exhaust. And I actually like the chrome bumper on the back. Now to the front passenger seat. Same manual adjustability as the driver's side, so that's for the seat back, that's for the seat bottom. Lockable glove compartment here, and then you have a second compartment there if you ever want to use that. Now as we come back around to the front end, I'm just going to take a quick look in the engine bay. And again, that's a 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. But let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So we get that hard plastic vinyl wrap steering wheel here. I like that it still keeps its shape for the most part as opposed to the leather wrap one. To the screen, this is a 7-inch. We get AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth audio. And then we also get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. You can change your language here. All of your other settings are right in there. And if your vehicle settings, you do get the rear seat reminder and buckle to drive, which is nice on this base model, along with that teen driver. There's your backup camera there. Guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. Little storage up here. And then shortcut buttons here, volume. You can click that to mute and then hold it to reset the system. Over here we have our single zone manual, climate controls, temperature can be adjusted there, fan speed here. To turn the system off or on, you just click that there. And you also get little prompts up top to kind of show you what's going on the screen. But your AC toggle and all that's there. And this is why I'm hot, because the AC wasn't on. Lane keeping system, auto stop. That's how you can release the tailgate, hazards, traction control. You do get a trailer brake controller on this one, then a USB-C and a USB-A input along with the 12 volt. And something else that I feel is also often missed on these trucks is you do have a little storage here, and then on top of that, you have a little storage underneath the seat there, and I'll show you how that works. So middle seat's down, and you can see we have the bottle holders, storage cubbies, and then the main cubby right there in the center console cubby space. But you can lift this up and then pull the lever here, and then you have actual center seat storage there. And I like this because most people don't think to look for something in there. But if you want to release the seat, let it back down, pull this strap here, and then you're good to go. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. Lights there. And surprisingly, we get a vanity mirror on this Pro. And again, this is one of the reasons I like going with the GMC as opposed to the Silverado. It's a bit more money, but a lot of the stuff that you like to have that you wouldn't know you were missing until you didn't have it is in this. There's a stalk there for the left side. And then you can control your windshield wipers here. You get auto high beams, you can toggle there. And then your windshield wiper fluid right there. Now for the shifter, again, in 8-speed, so you can hit the brake and it's on the column, so just pull, reverse, neutral, drive, and then you have your low gear there, or low mode, however you want to call it, but that's the limiter. And then you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, it shows you how much you're limited with the shifts there. Now behind the steering wheel on the left side, you don't have anything, same as the right side with this being a Pro. So that's one thing that this lacks, I feel would make a huge difference, is if we were able to actually control the radio from the steering wheel, but we can't. But we still get our cruise control, so we can toggle that on or off there, cancel, set the speed, and then for the forward collision alert, we can adjust that gap there, and you get nice graphics there in the middle. And on top of that, with the forward collision alert, your sensor, if you're ever about to hit something, you get that warning, it'll go off right up here and show you on the windshield. But to the actual gauge cluster here, everything's analog. And then the screen in the middle is digital, so you get that picture there. You can adjust all of that. Tire pressure monitors, oil life, and then all of that there. And then when you go all the way to the, almost the bottom, you can adjust the units from US to metric. Then you get that blank page there if you ever want to fool with that. And everything else can pretty much be reset, and it'll give you a prompt if you're able to do that. Push button starts here. Here's the key fob. And I can't remember if I hit the horn or not, so I'm gonna give it a nice toot here. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and take this 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in the Sierra 1500 here, a lot of people give this thing trouble because of the TURBOMAXs that are put in quite a few of these trucks, but actual owners of these have told me that they were one of those that were like, no, I'll never have a truck without a V8, and they drove this and they hauled with it, they towed with it, and they said, you know, I was able to save some money on this as opposed to upgrading to the V8, and I actually like how this drives better as a daily in terms of the fuel economy, just having that turbocharger feel. So I feel pretty much the same way with this truck here. It's just a very refined Turbo 4. The sounds are good, the overall drivability is nice. And it's not like the 6.2 V8, but you're not paying for that. So it's not one of those you can floor it and then you just get that more linear power feel, but this is, again, meant for more of a daily driver. Here we go. So as you can see, a pretty quick truck. Now, as we get on the interstate here, ride quality is pretty good. It's a pickup truck, a full size, so it floats down the road pretty nicely. Now, with the double cab setup here, I feel like it doesn't ride as well, but it's probably all in my head. But you have a less even weight distribution just having the longer bed as opposed to the bigger cab. But again, still great ride, especially having these 17-inch wheels on these thicker tires as opposed to 20s or 22s you might get on an SLT or an SLE. Now, of course, you don't have air suspension or magnetic ride control like you'd get in a higher trim, but still great ride quality for a truck like this. And what's crazy is, especially for commuting, you're not going to notice a difference whether you are in a V8 or a 4-cylinder when you have the cruise control set. Now, if you have to pass somebody, that's one thing, but again, you feel like you have more to give with a turbocharger as opposed to a naturally aspirated truck, especially with this 8-speed as opposed to that 10-speed automatic that comes with those V8s. Now, I do want to give one more thanks to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this truck today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you are looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click on the second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information. I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Now, another reason I like these TURBOMAX engines is, as a daily driver, it drives more like a car for me. I know that's a weird thing to say about a pickup truck, but in terms of just how I'm used to newer vehicles, pretty much, I shouldn't say all cars, but a lot of vehicles are either going to a hybrid or a turbocharger setup. And I don't know if it has to do with emissions or the government or whatever, but I actually like the ease of driving with those. And I guess the fun of driving them as well, because you get that feeling of almost driving a sports car with a turbocharger. But when you're not putting your foot into it, it enables you to get better fuel economy, having a lot of the times 2 less cylinders than you would in the older traditional sense. So you're getting a turbo 4 in a base truck here as opposed to the V6. And the outgoing V6 was pretty thirsty. I think I had a 2018 Silverado, and it had that 4.3 V6. And the getup was okay, but in terms of the fuel economy, I was thinking I should have just gotten a V8 because it was about the same. And with these Turbo 4s, highway fuel economy is pretty similar, but in terms of city, especially with auto stop, you really start to see those gains. But like most things, it just depends on how you drive the vehicle. Some people can get better fuel economy with a V8 as opposed to a 4-cylinder because they don't keep their foot in it, if that makes sense. But a great overall truck, I think, especially to be under $50,000, get 4-wheel drive, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. And it just, even though it's vinyl interior, it does feel very nice. So if you're in the market for a full-size truck, you have between this, Ram, F-150, and Tundra. So definitely check this one out if you're in the market again. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro.